Hi, it's Deacon Don Gleckler. Mrs. Daly asked me to talk with you just a few moments about my vocation experience. I think it's helpful to think about what a vocation is before I do that. A vocation is considered to be a calling from God. How do I think about that? I guess you might think about it in some ways similar to how have you decided to do almost anything in your life? If you have been a part of a school show in the gym on the stage, perhaps you were invited to do so by one of your teachers, or perhaps you saw a previous year's show and something came to your mind that looked like something interesting to you that you would like to do. Or perhaps someone told you had a particular skill or gift that might make you successful at that. Same thing could apply to a sports team where someone invites you to join or you see one that you like. In my case, I was at Mass one day and I heard a priest in his homily say, "The hand of the Lord is at the end of your own arm." And I had this sense that God was talking directly to me and that it was something I should explore. I grew up not Catholic, and there were other hints through my life that God was calling me to something. When I was born, I had a great aunt who predicted that I would be a minister someday. Of course, again, I wasn't Catholic at the time. When my wife and I and two of our children lived in Japan for my career, we went to a Catholic church there, the only Catholic church in the city that we went to. The priest was Filipino, and he asked me if I would be his altar server at Mass, despite the fact that I wasn't Catholic. I think that was an indication that God was pulling me in that direction as well. And then I went through RCIA when our oldest son was in second grade and receiving First Communion, and primarily, frankly, joined that program to learn more about the faith so that if my son asked me questions, I might be able to answer those questions. Well, at the end of the RCIA program, just before Easter Vigil, I came to the conclusion that God really was calling me to join the church, and so I did. And then a few years later was that homily at church that seemed to pull me toward something, but I wasn't sure what it was. I explored this question by taking classes at the seminary in the lay pastoral ministry program. I received a certificate in lay pastoral ministry and eventually felt that I was being pulled toward the diaconate. That program was a 3-year program, studying at the seminary with a number of other men. I still wasn't quite sure what God was calling me to, if the diaconate was really it or not. But at the end of those 3 years, I came to the conclusion that yes, that really was something that I was pulled to do. And so in 2007, I was ordained a permanent deacon in the church. As a permanent deacon, I would not have the ability to move on to be a priest. I am permitted to be married. However, if my wife should pass away before I do, I'm not permitted to remarry. But I will always be a deacon. Priests, as you may know, are ordained transitional deacons for 1 year prior to being ordained a priest. But I'm a permanent deacon. So I have always served at Christ the King. That was my home parish, and I continue to serve there. I help at Mass, typically distribute the cup, or I can also distribute the body of Christ. I receive the gifts that are brought up to the altar, prepare the altar for the priest. I am permitted to preach, although I had to earn faculties to do that. I preside at weddings. I preside at baptisms. I've baptized a couple of hundred children over the last few years, and can also preside at graveside services for funerals or preach at funerals. So that is my vocation story. I hope that it provides you with some information that you might not have had before, and if you have other questions, be sure to see me after Mass someday, assuming that we will shortly be able to resume celebrating Mass in the church. I hope you're all staying safe and that your families are safe as well. God bless you.